hear you.
Okay, well, 1 second. You have to reboot the Zoom back. Hang on. Okay, Mike.
Okay, so good evening. Hello. It is December the 10th, and we are here to celebrate God's goodness um, for providing for us the amazing resources that we can use to ensure that are not only healthy, but we are also able to honor Him, to praise Him, and to provide uh, a resource for other people so that they can also be healthy and give Him the honor and the glory. And so we want to get started with our uh, video um, to get us rolling here.
Do you ever feel the need for more energy, vitality, and a greater sense of well being? Then stay tuned. We are natural health enthusiasts with yet another delicious recipe of best practices and holistic lifestyle health. Our natural health planners, sponsors, presenters, and friends compile and share the simplest, most natural discoveries and practices targeted to restoring and maintaining energy, as well as a sense of well being that we all want in our daily lives. It has been said that health is a state of complete harmony of the body, mind, and spirit. Therefore, through the practice of the 8 laws of natural health, integrated with evidence based research, we see a world empowered by Christ's love that is passionately seeking to be its healthiest in body, mind, and soul. And that's why we're so glad you've chosen to be here. Join us each month to help us celebrate the Creator for the resources and knowledge that consistently optimize His gift of natural healing in our bodies. We thank our hosts at the All Nations Fellowship Seventh-day Adventist Church in partnership with Community Outreach Incorporated for providing this one-of-a-kind opportunity that helps us all live healthier tomorrow than we are today, every single day. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's your Natural Health Meetup presenting team for this life-enhancing edition.
Yes, good evening. My name is Dale Campbell, and it's just a pleasure to welcome you here this evening. I see that we have a few of our friends that are here just about every month, and we're just excited that you're here because we have some updates for you, some different frameworks that will be very helpful. And I'd like us to, at this time, have a word of prayer to begin our meeting, and then I'll have our regular disclaimers. And from that, we'll get right into the presentation. Let's bow our heads. Dear God, just thanking you for this day, for the incredible opportunities that we have to see the miraculous power that you have through nature, in our very beings. We can see, Lord, that things work so well and in so many unique ways. Each one of us is made differently. We're thanking you, Lord, for just the evidence. We are also thanking you, Lord, for the scriptures that allow us to exercise our faith. And so we put these two things together, Lord, as we continue to praise you, to learn, and to teach. And for this session this evening, where we're looking at the multiple recipes that will allow us to scale up our health practices and to improve our health outlook. Thank you for being with us in this meeting, and may your spirit dwell here in such a way that when these minutes are over, that we will look to praise you and to give you the honor and the glory. And this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen. This is who we are, Natural Health Enthusiasts. It's an outreach ministry out of Downers Grove. And we are the All Nations Fellowship Seventh-day Adventist Church, and here we have monthly presentations the second Tuesday of each month. And this is roughly 9.5 years that we've been doing these workshops, been online since COVID. And the disclaimer basically is this, that nothing that we share here is intended to be medical advice. If you have a health condition for which you are concerned, please consult with a qualified health practitioner. We will be showing pictures, we will be showing recipes tonight, we'll be using terms and situations. You may have questions, and we are not diagnosing, we're not prescribing, we're not putting a plan of treatment together for you. This can only be done in a setting where we are focused on you in particular, and that way our healthcare providers will be able to then answer specific questions according to the conditions that you have. So with that said, I'd like to remind you that the goal here is that we build a virtual blue zone. You see all these places that are identified here, and things are changing, folks. As soon as these populations start participating in the Western, so-called Western diet or the standard American diet, the whole trajectory starts changing. But there is one place in the United States, Loma Linda, California, that is a blue zone where people live well into their hundreds, and they are significantly healthier than the majority of the population around them. And the reason is the lifestyle. What is that lifestyle? How can we, from all parts of the country, from different parts of the world, as we get together here once per month, how can we have a virtual blue zone where we come together and we celebrate our health improvement, where we come together and we're able to share the things that we have done that allow us to become healthier than we were before? What an amazing testimony that would be, that lifestyle works. And these lifestyles that we're talking about are God-honoring lifestyles as well. And so we want to excite you tonight to help you realize that we are building a virtual blue zone here. And you come back each month, and if you have something to share, let us know ahead of time so we can plug you right into the agenda. And so the blue zones, we're going to have a 6th blue zone. There is a 6th blue zone, by the way, in the state of Minnesota that's emerging, but we want them to be the 7th blue zone that's virtual right here, the natural health enthusiasts. And as you look at our amazing display this evening, you can see that everything here is super beautiful, and it just looks so appetizing, doesn't it? How many of you think this is appetizing? Put something in the chat that says yes. Because I mean, whatever this zucchini cake is over here, I am just so salivating over it right now, just from the picture alone. And folks, you can make these things in your home. It won't look exactly like this necessarily, but I'm going to tell you that you will have an amazing opportunity to see some recipes tonight that will help you to become healthier over the course of the holidays. And so this is what some of the recipes tonight will actually look like. I won't give you the names of these because I want them to be surprises, but you will notice that there's a dessert here, there's a soup, there's a combination here, something really interesting in the saucepan, and over here on the top right, well, you'll see that there's something underneath all of that. We're going to be talking about these recipes, and the whole idea tonight is that we know the holidays are coming up. And I know that you're looking forward to these holidays, whether it's just a break from work, whether it's because you have family coming over, you're going someplace to be with friends and family, or it's just because it's going to be quiet and peaceful. But I know one thing for sure, you're going to be eating. And we want to be sure that when you're eating and the choices that you make, that you think a little bit differently than you did before. So tonight, we're actually going to combine a number of things. And Dr. Rick, one of our team here tonight, is going to be sharing with us something called the Bible diet. And I am curious because I mean, I know that there's stories of, people eating some weird things in the Bible. I don't think he's talking about that, and at least I hope not. But I'm going to see if I can open this up. Okay, there it is, coming right up. And so, Dr. Rick, could you please tell us a little bit about this thing you're calling the Bible diet? Unmute and pull your camera on.
Hey, hopefully everyone can hear me.
Yes.
And I want to just say I was listening to your preamble, Michael, and I was just thinking in my church there are at least two people that are 100 or more,
Yeah.
and at least about 4 or 5 that I can think that are at least 95 or 96.
Wow.
Besides that, and my wife just had someone pass, her aunt that was 105. So there is a way that is an open secret to how we should live, right? And so the Bible describes this diet in very simple terms. And it's so simple that maybe sometimes people will ignore it or not even see it. But the Bible that God gave in Genesis chapter 1, and it echoes throughout the Bible. But in Genesis chapter 1, and if you looked at verses 26 and even still a peek at 27 or 20, all the way through 30, if you just want to read it. But the basis of it is this: it's a high fiber plant-based diet that is nutrient dense. In other words, we're not using refined, ultra refined foods, like donuts. Apples are carbohydrates, but donuts are carbohydrates. We're not talking about donuts. We're talking about nutrient dense foods that are naturally low calorie, okay, naturally low in protein, naturally low in fat, a plant-based carbohydrate diet. This is being proven over and over to be the best diet, and it's a God recommended diet. So I guess that gives us a little bit of introduction to this diet. And the reason that we are highlighting this is the more we get into our holiday season, it seems like so many people, Michael, stray from this very simple diet that can be delicious, and that's what we want to show to them tonight.
Wow. Wow. So simplicity is what we're talking about here. And really we don't have to go to such great lengths to make complicated things. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, we all have our traditions, right?
Yeah.
And we all have things that we grew up doing and wanting to do and love the taste of. But really, the thing that God is suggesting is simplicity itself. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it's very simply a plant-based diet that is largely unprocessed.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially when it comes to our habits, right?
That's easier said than done. Because I mean, I've been on this path for a long time, and then that's the reason, one of the reasons I'm excited about this opportunity to share with others, because I know it can be done. Uh, the issue is the habits, absolutely. Traditions, the culture around us, the things we've grown up with, Many of us are from different parts of the world and different parts of the country, and in every section, in every family, and within every family, there are different habits, there are different customs, different traditions. And one of the things I know that we want to really touch on tonight is the fact that just because there is something that you really enjoy over the holidays that you know is not healthy, maybe there's a way to substitute an unhealthy ingredient in it in some cases, where you'll be able to make a substitution and make that traditional dish that would otherwise be unhealthy into something that will promote health and give you a stronger, healthier life. So we're going to touch on this. And one of the things that we have in store for you is borscht soup. I don't know how many of you knew that, but this is something fairly new to me. And Natalia from the country of Panama, she was the one that submitted this recipe for us. And so I'm going to open this up for us here, and we're going to take a look at this. And this is, of course, the borscht soup. Let me see if I can do this here. If I can make, yes, I can. Okay, that worked. And so the borscht soup, how does that look, folks? Like a bowl of soup that you might have as part of your meal. I just am excited that this is a pretty delicious soup. So here's how it goes. These are by the way, every recipe that we have here tonight, I'm going to put a link that will give you all of these recipes. And you just use that link and you'll have access to all the details. Feel free to take pictures or screenshots if you like, but these will all be available to you in one link that we'll provide for you. So these are the ingredients. And so, Dr. Rick, we have potatoes, we have beets, we have cabbage, we have white beans, we have carrots, we have tomatoes, we have onions, and mushrooms and green peppers and extra firm tofu. And wow, I mean, this is interesting. Now, one of the things that we want to do tonight, folks, I'm going to ask you to keep your chat window open, because and here's the thing, because there's a really important trick. Not only are we going to be talking about the recipes as far as their nutritional value and so on, but guess what? Heavy protein, medium protein, light in protein, very important. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So Dr. Rick, this is a very exciting recipe. We can see this is a soup. I want to share with the audience pretty much here that you're going to fill your pot with water halfway. You get the beets and bring them to a boil. You're going to soak the white beans until they're tender. You'll have the diced onions, carrots, green bell peppers into strips. You're going to have saute the vegetables. You're going to have all of that done here. You're going to add potatoes, peeled and diced, put them in the pot with cooking beets. And then when the potatoes are tender, stir in the sauteed vegetable mix. You're going to season the soup with salt and bay leaves and pretty much any other herbal seasoning that you may wish to use. And then you slice the cabbage and set it aside. And then once it comes back boiling again, you add the cabbage, the cooked and drained beans, and the additional strips of green bell pepper. You let it simmer for 6 minutes, and add the crushed garlic and simmer for another 3 minutes, and turn off the heat and sprinkle finely chopped dill. And then you serve. In fact, you just serve yourself, your family. And this is an amazing dish. So what do you think, folks, given the ingredients? Would you say, put it in chat, would you say heavy protein? Would you say medium protein? Or would you say light protein? Let's see the chat window. All right. Okay. And to take a guess. Nobody wants to jump out there and do this. Well, let's see if we can give them a hint, Dr. Rick. What would you say for this wonderful soup? And Natalia, even though she lives in Panama, is actually from Ukraine. And this is a version of the Ukrainian borscht soup. Would you say this is a healthy combination, Dr. Rick?
So we got a couple of guesses, and one says medium protein, one says light protein, and
Okay.
the reason why we need to understand this, I think we'll just mention lightly here, and we'll talk
Yeah,
about it more.
sure.
But this we had established a couple of meetings ago that you really want to pay attention to proteins. The heavier proteins you want to eat earlier, giving your body a chance to break them down, and your meals should get lighter in proteins as you go through the day. So this would be a moderately high in protein. You have potatoes, which is a surprising to a lot of people, has protein in it. But the beans are a source of protein. You have the tofu, the
Right.
mushrooms are a source of protein. And if you want to say those are carrying the weight of the protein. Everything else is kind of a non-protein
Mhm.
dish. So
Right.
this would be, I would say, moderate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something, because I know when we get to the heavies, if we find a heavy one in here, we're going to talk about that should be in the morning.
Right.
So we're saying this is moderate. Does that mean like before 4 p.m. Or between, is it closer to noon? What would be kind of an ideal range for something that's considered to be moderate protein?
So your body starts getting ready to eat things probably uh, around 6 o'clock, right, a.m.
Okay.
Uh, so most people are not, their head is not caught up with their body, right? But you could eat this early, your body will begin processing this, and vegetable proteins are much quicker digested in a much quicker way than, say, animal protein. So you don't have to worry so much about it. I think what vegetarians want to concern themselves with is the volume of food.
Mhm.
Okay. So with this, if you're having a number of other things with it, you want to place this to breakfast or lunch.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
you could get away with it later, but it starts to giving you problems um, after 6, 7 o'clock, which most people would say, "What?" But yeah, you want to start training yourself to have heavier food toward the morning, lighter meals toward the afternoon, and then your light meal, if you're going to have three, um, that's going to be in the late afternoon.
Right. We're similar to the pineapple that Allison was having earlier, right? She was
Right,
right on target, right in the evening hours. That's the kind of stuff that
right.
we're talking about. Wow. So people are going to think we're crazy having soup in the morning. How weird is that? Is that
Well,
counterculture? What?
well, in I grew up in the South years and years ago. That it was not uncommon for people in the South to have beans and rice and things like that for breakfast. I mean, of course, you had traditional breakfast foods, but you also had some rice or other things that were not uncommon. And the farmers, since they were getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes to work, or they would be hungry by, you know, 11 o'clock, noon. So they wanted a substantial meal. And I think that's the point is if you're working, then you want to feed your body.
That? This is now going to already, we already have the medium to heavy to medium light proteins. We're going to skip this now, and we're going to head back to, let's go back here so I can get to my little page right here. Miss Serena. Miss Serena, are you ready? We're going to bring your presentation up here. This is our zucchini in noodles.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah, well,
and she
this
will
is
be
an
talking.
awesome recipe.
Yeah.
Can you hear me well?
Yes. Yeah. That's good. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, before I used to really, really, and I still do love pasta. There's something about pasta that I crave. But I also know in the back of my head that pasta is refined carbohydrate, which poses some health challenges and some, risks for your health. So I found an alternative, a healthier alternative, which is the zucchini noodles, which not only looks or resemble pasta, but is also delicious
Hmm.
and is healthy. It's healthy and delicious for you. So I discovered this recipe and I tried it and I absolutely love it. So
Hmm.
what you will need to do this recipe is like 3 to 4 medium zucchinis, and then you're going to make a pesto to go with it. And for the pesto, you will use 2 avocados, 2 cups of fresh basil, um, spinach, half a cup of spinach, a half a cup of arugula. Then we'll add some garlic, 3 to 4 cloves, and the juice of 2 lemons. And you can add a little olive oil if you wish. That's optional. Definitely the pine nuts is a really adds to the flavor of this pesto, and you'll add sea salt to taste. And then you'll take those ingredients and you will process them in a food processor or in your blender until it gets kind of creamy and smooth. It could be chunky too, doesn't matter, but you want to break it up. And then once you do that, you add it to your zucchini. Now, to make the zucchini noodles, you can use a spiralizer, or you can use a vegetable peeler, or even a mandolin. And then you can just do that and then just add your pesto to it and just mix it up and enjoy your zucchini noodles. And you can eat it like that, but I like to eat mine with avocado. As you see in the picture there, I love avocados. So I'll add like some sliced tomatoes and an avocado. This was actually one of my raw meals that I had some months ago. And it's absolutely delicious, healthy, and filling. So I
Hmm.
hope you guys try it and enjoy it.
Wow. 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 So let's go back here and take a look. Take a look at the ingredients. And would you say it's a heavy protein, a medium protein? What's the vote, folks? I want to see that chat window light up. Is this light, medium, or heavy protein? What do we think? All right, somebody, okay, medium. Okay, they're coming in. They're coming in. Fantastic. Yeah. So, Dr. Rick, we have some people that are willing to put themselves on the line here, and so what do we say in terms of this recipe? Heavy protein, medium, or light? Just looking at
So
the
this would fall into the light category. I mean, the pine nuts in
yeah,
the pasta uh, are just an accent, so
right,
they really aren't the major
yeah,
ingredient um, that's adding to this. Like in the last one, we had tofu and beans and
right.
things like that. Here we have all vegetables, really.
Mm,
And so that tells us really, with that being the case, you only really are, this is a light in protein. So it's really You have avocado, which is a fruit, and zucchini as well. But you have the green vegetables, etc., the lemons. So this is,
Mhm.
really, really a light protein. Very.
Wow, wow. What a distinction to make. And what is so confusing to me, and Dr. Rick, I'm going to ask you to go a little bit deeper. Why is this heavy protein and light protein so important with the time of day? What's going on exactly that makes the time of day relate or connect to the protein uh, levels in a particular dish or meal?
Well, I would say that it would surprise most people that much of what we call disease in our society comes from um, over consumption of protein. Okay, so arthritis and um, even some blood pressure problems, kidney damage, prostate problems are particularly connected to animal proteins. But even with plant proteins, your body takes those first. So if you were to eat, let's say, an apple with some nuts or things like that. Your body, even if you ate the apple first, your body would stop processing that, your stomach would, and start on the protein.
Hmm,
So it goes heavy to light.
hmm,
And really, that is so that it can adequately break them down. You need different categories of acidity in the stomach to handle different types of food.
hmm,
So the let's say something like the zucchini, the perhaps even the avocado you could put in that, spinach, arugula, all those things need um, a less acidic
hmm,
condition in the body.
hmm,
Thing that really kind of needs more acidity of the pine.
hmm,
And that is, if you don't have a lot in that, then
hmm,
you're okay. Your body will kind of lightly deal with that. But mostly these are things that the stomach can really easily digest,
hmm,
move through, because if you have an overabundance of protein, and especially heavy proteins, and your body is not prepared to handle it, then it becomes a waste item in your bloodstream, and your body has to figure out a way to get rid of it. And if it can't, then it starts an inflammatory process
hmm.
that begins to cause problems.
Wow.
That's
Wow. And
that's
so,
the simple answer.
oh, yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that. I think it was even more than simple because the awareness of how the body actually works, that it actually, if it sees protein, especially heavy protein, it's going to prioritize that so that because the other things are easier to do. And so it's taking the most difficult thing first, which is in many cases the way that we work in solving problems. But here is the thing that I want us to take a look at, because there is a third recipe here that we want to take a look at. And so we want to see, this is now a dessert. And this dessert is a zucchini cake. So we're going to take a, thank you, Serena, for sharing your zucchini noodles and for being in the light protein category so we can have it later in the day and enjoy ourselves at any time. Uh, let's,
Yay.
all right. So Natalia also is responsible for this recipe. This is the zucchini cake, and wow, Um, I have not had this yet, but she's been testing. In fact, she sent me an update just as late as today because she tested it one more time with different ingredients. But the whole idea behind this is to have something delicious that's sweet, that is healthy, especially coming up for the holidays here. And a lot of these items are transferable, right, to other items, other cakes or desserts. And so she, in this case, used stevia in the raw, coconut sugar, um, and gluten-free all-purpose flour. She herself finds herself sensitive to gluten. Um, Avocado oil. She tried this with olive oil, and it just did not work well. So she wanted me to be sure to tell you it is avocado oil. Uh, Gluten-free vanilla extract, agar powder as an egg substitute. Um, so if you have a recipe with eggs, I know some people use applesauce sometimes to replace eggs in some recipes. But 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon baking soda, baking powder, a cup of nuts, and zucchini again. That's a popular item tonight. And so this gives us an idea of what those ingredients are. And I want you to be thinking about heavy, medium, and light in terms of protein. Where would this likely fall? And so the way that this is prepared, preheating the oven to 350 degrees, combining all the dry ingredients in a mixing bowl, and then in a separate bowl, whisk together the wet ingredients, whether it's the agar or if you're using eggs, all the liquids here together, and the sugar or sugar substitutes. Add the dry mixture to the wet mixture, stirring until well incorporated, and then just fold in the shredded zucchini. Um, you want to unmute,
little girl.
mute. You want to mute your phones, folks, please. Mute your phones. Yeah. And then, of course, fold in the shredded zucchini and nuts. Pour the batter into a greased baking pan and bake in the oven for 1 hour or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean and allow to cool before serving. And so one of the things that I'm going to ask Dr. Rick to do on this particular recipe is just to discuss the sugar substitutes and the items that are replacing these, just to be sure that we cover the Bible diet idea. And what is the, well, first of all, coconut sugar. I want to just address that. Is that better typically than the white sugars that we might find?
Well, I would say, coconut sugar, largely when you have sweeteners, the thing you want to remember is sugar is largely sugar. Okay. People were on an agave kick or whatever. Coconut sugar is better in the sense that it is less processed. Okay, they use weird things to process white cane sugar. So, yeah, you're better off using, something like that. It's not as sweet as regular sugar, coconut sugar. Stevia is better because it's not really sugar, but it's kind of an oxymoron. You have stevia in the raw because raw stevia is green. It's not white. So okay, it's not really in the raw, is it?
Okay.
It's green. So this sugar thing, I still think you have to look at this. If you're sensitive to sugar, then this is probably a bit better and your body will process it a bit better, but it's still something you don't want to eat half the cake, right? So yeah, I think that's probably better.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. And so it's and then agar powder. as an egg substitute. How does that rank in terms of, I guess, inflammation or acidity or
Yeah,
uh,
agar is great in terms of that. The only problem I know of with agar, boy, if you're not used to using it,
hmm,
uh, tend toward less than more
mhm.
because you'll come out with a brick. You know, that is almost dangerous stuff. If you're heavy-handed with it, then you'll come out with a something that's unedible because
Ah,
it really helps things gellify. So, but it in terms of the product itself, there's no real issue with.
I've also heard about flaxseed to use as an egg substitute. Is that a good substitute as well?
Yeah, flaxseed will work as well. I
mhm.
mean, if you're ranking those things, the flaxseed, you're using a gel just like the agar, but the agar really works. I mean, the flaxseed works pretty well.
Yeah.
Uh, in a cake or something like this, you can get away with probably either one of those. And certain things like burgers and things like that that you want really to hold their shape. Well, agar is really good at that, But
Wow.
there are other things like Just Egg, which is a tapioca um, base thing, and there's some other things you can use, but flaxseed works. Agar is really good, but just be warned.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm looking this up to see if I can find the amount of flour. Somebody just asked that and it's not listed in here. I'll have to get that from Natalia. Man, I don't see it here. Gluten-free zucchini. Hang on, just one. Let me just make sure. No, I don't see it in here at all. Um, and I missed that. Gluten-free. Yes, so we'll get that and we'll add it to the document as soon as we get the answer from her for the amount of flour. It says pine nuts are excellent for the brain, especially. Oh yes, that's right, especially for growing children. I love pine nuts, and they're pretty expensive too. But anyway, the question for the group is heavy, medium, or light. Where do we think we are with this particular recipe? Heavy, medium, or light? Let's hear from you in the chat window. Protein heavy, protein medium, or protein light? We're thinking about it.
And
Yeah.
that's good because we want them to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. This yeah, and I think they're seeing the patterns already. We had one that was sort of similar to this in some ways, and yeah. So well, it looks like we don't have any takers on this one. Um, I will tell you that I would vote medium to light on this.
And I
Somebody
think
said medium.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think it's medium.
so. Um, if you think about um, the let's say the a person is not going to eat the whole cake, right? So you're going to eat a slice or two of
Yeah.
that. So you're not getting very much of that half a cup of chopped nuts.
Mm-hmm.
right? That's just an accent.
Right.
So you have to look at the other ingredients. What else would give you protein to a substantial level is the question that it would ask you. And so I would vote more light,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's nothing really that's going to give you um, any substantial protein other than the accent of nuts. And unless you're eating the whole cake, you're not going to get very much. So
All
I,
right.
I would vote light.
All right. So this would be a good dessert even at 5:30 in the evening then.
Right. You could get away with a small slice. I'm still gonna say,
Don't eat the
yeah,
whole thing, huh?
yeah. And that's particularly knowing your limitations in terms of your diet and such.
Oh man. I remember when I was younger, I would eat the whole I would actually just leave a sliver for whoever else was in my home. So yeah, I totally get that point. Don't eat the whole cake. Well, thank you so very much for sharing on this one. Hopefully you folks are getting the idea of how to evaluate uh, the time of day, the better time of day. Now, don't try to do all of these changes at once because I know to remember all of this and to apply it and then to, oh my, I forgot this or I forgot that this thing had, a whole lot of nuts in it or whatever it is. Just keep be aware and make one small decision to make a shift. Something that you've been eating in the evening that would be better eaten in the morning or earlier in the day. Make that shift. Make it a small, one single thing so that you can then prepare yourself to add on to that and continue making the transition to a super healthy, heavy, medium, light sequence during the course of the day. So at this time, we are going to pause here for a brief moment to take a look at our interim video, and we will have an opportunity here to um, uh, remind us who we are, what we're doing here. And if you have questions, please be sure to put them in the chat as well. And Barry, are you going to play that video for us?
We're thrilled that you're attending this edition of your Natural Health Meetup. In between our monthly sessions, you can stay connected with us in as many as 3 easy ways. Our Facebook group has our live as well as archived videos along with other natural health updates and a place to post your questions. Our Natural Health Learn and Share Meetup site has announcements, reminders, and messages for you, and also our confidential requests for prayer page. We love to pray for you and any concerns of life that you may have. Use the link on the screen to stay connected for any one of these or all 3.
Gets you in touch with us. It gives us an opportunity to dialogue between our different sessions each month. And that was just a brief intermission there. So folks, I hope that you are learning some key principles as we analyze these recipes and as you're helping us to analyze them. We have 2 more recipes to share with you tonight. And they're going to be somewhat of a different spin. And let me get back to sharing my screen here so we can see where we are. We have an opportunity now to take a look at, oh, wrong screen here. Take a look at something that I call, this is my recipe. And those of you who are coming in from Panama, you know about this recipe because we actually did it when we were down there in October. And so I call it the burst of flavor quinoa. burst of flavor quinoa. So everybody, I believe, knows quinoa, and this is what it looks like after it's cooked. But you see how you can use it. You can mix it into a salad. It could become an accent, kind of, or it could be a lot of quinoa mixed with some other veggies like this. And so it depends on which way you go with it. But I call it the flavor burst quinoa. And why is it flavor burst? Well, quinoa, basically the recipes say, add your seasonings and so on and so on, and then water. And well, you're going to see this recipe this evening is taking us into a little bit of a different direction. And those of you from the Caribbean will appreciate the coconut milk. So, yeah, be sure to drain and rinse the the quinoa as recommended on the package. But instead of using only water, we use a can of coconut milk. In this case, 13 and a half ounces is the one that we buy. I recommend from Trader Joe's. That is one place that, as far as we know so far, there's no plastic lining those cans to contaminate the contents of the can. And so after you've added the coconut milk, just put another half a can or just roughly half a cup of distilled water in the can, and you can just add that additional water to make up the total liquid that is recommended on the packaging. Sea salt to taste, at least 1 teaspoon. It takes a little bit more to really feel the salt, but if you're not looking for a salty dish, then this is, of course, adequate. Herbs, bay leaf, thyme, basil, and the Trader Joe's has, and for those of you in the U.S., Trader Joe's is 21 seasoning salute, 2 cloves of garlic crushed or minced, and wow, that coconut milk gives it an amazing burst of flavor. And so these are the instructions. Here, kind of went through those already. After you've had all those things together, bring it to a boil and stir. I guess we should have that in there. Once it boils, stir it so that everything gets nicely mixed up. Reduce to low heat to simmer for about 15 minutes. It is a very quick dish. With everything that we do, I know my wife, when she says, I'm going to get quinoa, after it's been rinsed appropriately, she likes to think about it as a 20-minute activity and ready to be served by that time. And so it's very, very quick. But you can see that it has an opportunity here to not only be eaten as is, as you can see in the top right corner here. This is what it looks like in the plate already prepared. But you can put things on top of it, like, something that Dr. Rick is going to present a little bit later could go on top of this. And I'll show you another picture here in just a moment. But as a salad, yeah, sprinkled in a green salad, you could have it as a quinoa salad. You could have beans or mushrooms or tofu that goes on top of it. And it could be used like rice in a way. But something about it is really, really different. So what is your preference for this? Quinoa, especially with the middle plate. Is that protein heavy, protein medium, or protein light? What say ye? What say ye?
Put your vote in. Vote in. Don't be scared.
Yeah, don't be scared. Protein heavy, protein medium, protein light. Take a good guess.
Medium.
All right. Okay. Medium was a good. Okay. Yeah. Only one taker so far. Well, we're going to take that.
Another medium.
Oh, another medium. Okay. All right. Somebody went with a light. Okay. Yolanda came in with a heavy. Wow. Okay. So we were on all ends of the spectrum here. Wow. Well, I've got some interesting news for you. If you're having this dish in the middle, you have one of the best sources for complete protein. One of the best sources for complete protein. So if you're looking for something with high in protein, got a lot of other nutrients in there too. But quinoa, now if you're using it like an accent in the salad, then yeah, then it's, you know, bordering on medium or so. And correct me if I'm going in the wrong direction there, Dr. Rick, or it could even be light depending on how much you put. But when you do the quinoa salad, that's also very dense with the quinoa as well, even though you have some veggies mixed in. So there's a whole opportunity here to use quinoa in many different ways. I want to highlight for you also rich in protein, 8 grams per cup. That's high, right? Yeah, and it does have carbs, 39 grams. So and it has healthy with unsaturated fats. So it's a really like a complete food. I was just thinking about this today. I have this. I really don't need a whole lot of anything else. And then of course some of the minerals and micronutrients in here, and of course the coconut milk um, is also quite interesting. It has MCTs, medium chain triglycerides or fats, 21 grams per cup. And then manganese, copper, magnesium, iron, phosphorus. Wow, I'm getting a whole ton of micronutrients with that. And small amounts of potassium and antioxidants, vitamin C and E. And so these two things together really do complement each other in a very unique way, but you are getting a very, very interesting combination that's concentrated with protein. So this is my problem, Dr. Rick. My problem is I love to have this in the evening.
Well, what is it about it that you like it in the evening?
Oh man. It's just the flavor and the taste of it. I love to have, you know, I love to have it in any form. I mean, I think I can show you another picture here. Let me see.
And what are you calling the evening?
Well, yeah, you know, and evening for me really is now earlier than it used to be. I am, I'm really scheduling my dinner time like around 4:30 in the afternoon now. And of course, it's night, right? You know, at this time of year. But the idea for me is if I were to eat at 6 o'clock in the excuse me in the evening, I may want to have some quinoa with a bowl of soup, you know, and but I mean a lot of quinoa in the soup. All right.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's an issue. But according to the principles of heavy, medium, and light, the best time for this would be earlier in the day, like when I'm getting ready to go out to work, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you're really talking about um, the non-traditional breakfast item and also or lunch. I think if you're eating around 4:30 or 5 or so, you can get away with it, but the whole idea of how your stomach wants to work
Mm.
is you need probably about 5 or 6 hours before your bedtime, that you're finishing your meal about 5 hours before your bedtime,
Mm. Mm.
something like that. 4 as a minimum, but 5 with a heavier protein, you're, yeah, you want to give it a little extra time, especially if there's some, you know, if you have certain digestive problems,
Mm. Mhm.
okay? What you don't want to do is mix quinoa with a heavy fruit meal. You don't want that because that's going to cause a crash,
Yes.
right? Anytime you have a fruit, you need low acidity in the stomach, and then you have a protein, you have a high acidity that your body wants. So that's having that with fruit is going to cause a problem. Okay, it's going to cause digestive problems and gassiness because that fruit will just sit there and sit. If you put fruit in a closed 98-degree temperature place, what's going to happen? It's going to rot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just have to be careful. Now you can get away with salad things or even tomatoes. That even though tomato is a fruit, it's a high acid fruit. You probably can get away with that. But other fruits, apples and certain things, you're not going to get away with. You may get away with some blueberries, but I would steer clear of that, of mixing that with any kind of fruit. If you're
Wow.
gonna have it in the evening, have it with green salad or something like that, and then have it early enough so that you can still get away with it.
Wow. Right. Try quinoa cereal with crushed nuts or fruit salad, it says, for breakfast. But you're not recommending the fruits with it, right?
No,
Yeah.
we want to stay away from, and this is where the food combination comes in. And I mean, we talked around that, but we haven't really got deeply into food combinations. But you you really want to keep simplicity in the types of food that you have at any one meal. You want one type of protein, uh, in beans and rice. Okay, I'm considering mixing that together as one, because you have to remember things like broccoli. Broccoli is a food that's high in protein. It's just not a complete protein, but it is a high protein food. So these things, yeah, we have to really kind of begin to get an understanding of what we're calling protein and, you know,
Now, Dr. Rick, got a question. Does the amount has anything to do with it? Because let's say that if the person just used the fruit as a garnish, they're not using a lot. So let's say they have a cereal, a quinoa cereal, and they just sprinkle some not so fruits. Will that make a difference?
I think it's depending on what fruit you're talking about again. Some fruits, like sweet fruits, apples, bananas, pears, those are going to be more reactionary to your body changing over, you know. Um,
What about the berries?
um, you know, I think you could probably get it away with that if you just doing a few, but most people want to taste all the berries, especially against the quinoa, which is more of a protein taste. And I think that you're kind of skirting with a little danger there. I hate to say, but yeah, I mean, it's not the ideal combination.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just amazing to be aware of this, right? So the heavy protein, sweet fruits, no. Sweet fruits, no. Dr. Rick, you have a recipe to share with us, man.
Yeah, I
You,
mean, seeing everything, I wish I had snuck in a picture of beans and things that I love making savory beans. I think I found the recipe that I made up that probably Esau sold his birthright for. It's just so good. But this one is scrambled tofu eggs with mushrooms. And this is kind of another savory blend. You're using a pound of extra firm tofu. I like it organic. You add sweet peppers. You've got green onions, fresh onion, fresh garlic, turmeric, which I use ground. It's easier to use that way. Mushrooms, and I've used in this one. I think I used baby portobellos and shiitake or reishi. I can't remember. I think I used reishi with this and fresh portobello. And then I use, if I'm going to saute anything, avocado oil is the choice because avocado oil has a higher smoke point, a higher cooking point than something like an olive oil, which is extra virgin olive oil is not something you want to cook with. You can add it at the end of some beans or at the end of something, but it does not stand up well to heat. So if you're just using a regular olive oil, which is not extra virgin or even virgin, just a plain olive oil, then you can use something like that to cook with, but that's still not its place where it wants to be. But avocado oil, you can go up to I think 450 in smoke point or something like that. Some people say 500, but 400 is that's pretty high, and you still get no damage from that in the oil. So let's look at how we make this, Mike, unless there's questions about this.
I don't know. Start thinking about heavy, medium, and light, folks.
Okay. Yeah, start thinking about that. So first we put the things on to saute the garlic and onions and all the spices that you want to add except the turmeric. And you stir regularly. I use a porcelain lined skillet or a cast iron skillet. I have a porcelain lined cast iron skillet that is one of my favorites. And when I say well seasoned, if you familiar with cast iron skillets, you need to season it a little so things won't burn or stick very well. Then you take while you're doing that, you take the tofu from the package, drain off the fluid, and then with your hands or potato masher, if you're more genteel, mash the tofu up into smaller, regular pieces, more looking like scrambled eggs, and then add that to the pan with the oil and the spices. Add turmeric generously until the tofu becomes a yellow, golden brown in color, and then stir it regularly. So I'm doing this on a kind of a medium high heat. And when I call medium, and it depends on your stove, but if you have a stove that goes up to 9 or 10, then a medium heat is going to be about a 5, right? 4 to 5. So you don't burn while you're waiting on this stuff to do. I tend to get my mushrooms from Trader Joe's. They have the best looking mushrooms that I've seen. Even better, I like theirs better than Whole Foods, actually. They look better. The worst place to buy mushrooms and any kind of produce that I've seen is Walmart. Oh, never. But Sam's a little bit better. But you don't want mushrooms that look slimy or look wet in the package or look like they're turning overly brown. yeah, look for decent mushrooms. Um, Trader Joe's has wonderful mushrooms most all the time.
Mhm.
And so they're already pre-washed, but I you can wash them uh just lightly. Okay, you don't want these things to be wet when you're cooking them. That's why I say lightly rinse them if you're going to do that. Then I cut them into thin slices depending on how you like it. Add them to the tofu and seasoning mix and stir regularly until they're golden brown. And boy, then so I don't say how much seasoning to add. You just do it to taste, and it's really about the taste. I start with the basics of onion, garlic, green peppers, and peppers, sweet peppers. But I usually add a dash of salt, pepper, and then there's some other seasonings that are very particular that I might add. And so those are really particular seasonings. So I didn't mention those because you would have to maybe scour to find them. I don't know if you go to Kroger or if you go to this place or that place, you could find them. But um, yeah, this is probably the best. It's very simple, and this is another one of those dishes that in 15 or 20 minutes you're ready to go to the table. You know, it's not going to take you long. Now, I wanted to mention about no the tofu. You're fine going to that. Um, there's a lot of types of mushrooms, um, and they offer they're a healthy thing. They are not, and this is a clue. Mushrooms are not protein rich. They are light to maybe moderate, but light protein foods. But they are nutrient dense. There's vitamin, uh, there's selenium is a great place to find them. Also, onion skins. Before you throw them away, boil them. Uh, Serena, if you have that sore throat, take the onion skins, boil it, make an onion skin tea, rich in selenium, very helpful for sore throat or whatever. But mushrooms are rich in that. They have um, vitamin D, D3. Mushrooms are a great source of vitamin D3. Okay. And that is a wonderful thing. They have other nutrients, and especially if you cook them in avocado oil, that they retain so much nutrient content. I still don't want you to overcook them, but they have fiber. They have so many things that help your gut be better. So they can be used medicinally, even if they're cooked. The only thing that probably wouldn't survive the cooking is vitamin C. Tofu is another excellent full protein source. Okay, so that gives you a hint. It's a high protein food, and so it can be used as a kind of an alternative to meat. But unlike the meat animal sources, there's no cholesterol. It has polyunsaturated fats, and it has all sorts of nutrients that you would never get from animal foods. And so it's wonderful. These things mixed together, they make the great thing about cooking with these types of foods is both of them can taste like your seasoning, whatever you want them to taste like. I've even experimented and made them taste like barbecue. Okay, you can take the mushrooms and make them taste like barbecue. So, um, yeah, they are really good. Um, the mushrooms are very interesting food. I know some people are down on mushrooms, but they have polysaccharides, which are wonderful for your gut health, and they can serve as a prebiotic food. And they are one of the foods that can as you see here on the screen, they can pass through the colon and to the through the stomach and gut early to get to the colon, so that it's really something that helps your vitamin D absorption and such as that. Um, there's a little bit more, Michael, if you want to scroll that up just a tiny bit more. Yeah. So um, it helps with blood pressure and heart because of all the minerals there, and the types of fiber in it really are helpful. And as I said, selenium, vitamin D, um, you know, and other nutrients that are hard to find in other animals. I mean, in animal foods or other vegetables, even. So, and there's just so many. This is shiitake mushrooms that you're seeing, but Trader Joe's has the portobello, organic baby bellas. They have the reishi. They have the shiitake mushrooms. They have the white button mushrooms. So they have all sorts of mushrooms. A great place to shop for that. Okay. Um, I think that's it for that.
Yeah. So we really know that this is a uh, heavy, medium, or light, right? We know where this falls, right? So the tofu scrambled eggs with mushrooms combo sounds like a good place to have them as an egg substitute in the morning.
In the morning, in the lunch, and I'm like you. Sometimes I will have it as a sandwich,
Ooh.
as my last meal because I love the taste of it. So sometimes I cheat, but I usually get away with it.
Yeah, I can see some bean sprouts, some alfalfa sprouts maybe, or something like that with this in a sandwich. I think would be really
Oh
interesting.
man, the tomatoes on it and things like that. But I use this organic bread that I get from um, Trader Joe's. They have really cheaply. They have this. Um, I think it's a French bread,
Mm.
but it's in a roll, and it's $1.99 for a big roll. I mean, big piece of it. Just $1.99,
Mm.
and wow, that's pretty cheap for any bread that you can find that's healthy these days.
Mm.
And I just cut that and cut a piece of it. Put some vegan margarine on it, and I'll sprinkle a little garlic and put my tofu on there, and I'm
Wow, that sounds yummy.
woo, boy, I was gonna say I'm headed to heaven, but not quite. But I feel like it is wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
but
Dr.
you
Rick,
can
you had mentioned about the mushroom providing vitamin D3. Is there a specific mushroom or does it matter?
well, I mean, different ones have different content, so you can look at it. But I mean, the healthier ones are like shiitake, maitake, reishi. Those ones are pretty healthy, but even the even the button
Mhm.
white button mushrooms have D in them, and if if you find that they don't have, some of them don't have D3, most of them will have some D, and then your liver does a great job of translating the D1 or D2 into D3. But usually you get D3 in a plant-based supplement. Mushrooms are one places that they found it, or other um, class of fungus or sea minerals, sea vegetables that are in a similar class to that. That's where they get the vitamin D3. Um, for those supplements even. So,
Well, Dr. Rick, I want to thank you so much for sharing this recipe. I'm going to ask if you don't mind just monitoring for questions. I'm going to go grab that link so we can get them the recipes as we promised. But are there any questions? I didn't see any come up in the chat specifically, but is any questions that you would like to ask any of us who have provided information regarding these recipes? And I will get an update, the flour for the zucchini cake. I should have it by tomorrow morning. So when you download it, when you get back to it in another day or so, we should have that answer in there for you. But any questions from the group?
okay, Donna has her hand raised.
Hi,
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am.
Rick.
Yeah.
Yes. You did make reference to the broccoli and the high content of, what did you say it has? Protein? Was it
Yeah,
the high
broccoli is
protein? What about mm, the other one, that cauliflower?
um cauliflower is not going to be, even though they're both cruciferous vegetables, it is not as high. I don't know the numbers for that, but it's nowhere near as high in protein as broccoli. Broccoli, if you could almost compare, let's say if you had ground beef and you had 100 grams, something like that of ground beef, you would have probably 11 point, about 11 grams of, of, of protein, complete protein. Whereas in broccoli, you're going to have like 8.5, but it's not complete. And not complete sounds like there's something wrong with it, doesn't it? But it's actually better than having complete protein, because your body will have to take so much more time in the stomach and then in the digestive tract to break down animal proteins. Whereas if you take a broccoli with an incomplete protein and mix it with another food, that will actually give the body options to take some of those proteins from the broccoli, some from, let's say, beans and rice, and it can mix and match what it needs to and easily take care of pushing off the other proteins. Whereas when you eat animal foods, cheeses, meats, things like that, your body, depending on how well you digest, but women tend to have slower digestion than men. So it could take you, depending on how much you ate, from, believe it or not, women 50 to 73 hours to get from your stomach all the way through getting rid of it. It takes a long time for animal food. So you don't have that same problem with plants. So broccoli has the type of protein that can be mixed and matched with other foods, and you get a higher quality of protein from, let's say, beans and rice than you would ever get from a hamburger or a steak.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes, I put the link in the chat. This is our recipe collection, and any updates we make to it will automatically come to you as updates. And any other questions for any of the presenters tonight? All right. Well, we're just about at the end of our time. We want to have our closing prayer. I'm going to, Miss Allison Hull, would you mind closing us with prayer this evening?
Oh, we're gonna have
the mixer?
the mixer afterwards.
Yes,
We
yes,
should
yes.
remind them of that.
Yes. Yeah, we just want to closing prayer here. Those who would like to go
Yeah.
and yeah, and we have our mixer. We turn off the recording, and we're no longer streaming. And feel free to just stick around a while and continue asking questions. And let's hear your successes and things that have excited you with the changes that you've been able to make as well. So, thank you, Allison.
Yeah. Dear Father in heaven, thank you for bringing us back another day to listen to some good, healthy eating habits. To maybe if we live to 105, like the doctor said, but healthy 105 with no such aches and pains, that's a good thing. But I may be starting on this lifestyle late, but it's better late than never. So I'm happy to learn and follow with it. In Jesus' name, I pray for all the help that Michael and the doctor is giving us. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so very much. So,
Just a question before you move on,
yes,
Sir Campbell.
yes.
I am not seeing the link for the soup and the other recipes.
Yeah, you're not seeing it in the chat?
No, the one that you did was for the scrambled egg. When I clicked on it, it's just a scrambled egg I was seeing.
Okay, hang on a second here. Oh,
Um,
okay, yeah, you're right. All right, so
Yes, he is correct. That's all I'm seeing too.
let me fix that. That is not what I did or wanted to do. Yeah, I got the scrambled egg myself. All right, so I know exactly where to go for that, I think. So we're here.
Anybody else have any questions they
Yeah.
want to ask while we're waiting on that?
Yep.
Feel free to ask questions about whatever.
Well, Doc, I like to, I try to eat around 5 because I get home like 4:30, 5 o'clock from work. And I don't like to eat later than that unless I have some kind of activity to do. But I like, I've learned that since I went to China over 30 years ago to have warm glass of water, but I like to eat a pineapple. You think I'm eating the pineapple too late? Around 7?
Well, again, the ideal is really to have your last food in your stomach, minimum of 4 hours before you're going to be sleeping, right? And for me, it can be challenging, especially when I'm busy, but um, I like to go to bed around 9 or 9:30 for me. Um, and
Okay.
then so I back that up 4 hours. That gives me maybe around 5 o'clock or 5:30.
Okay.
Most of the time, I do get to do that, and there are occasions when I have gone a little later. But what I tend to do is try to create a habit. Your body will make its own little adjustments if you go ahead and make a habit to regularly eat breakfast at a certain time. If you're going to eat lunch, then you eat your lunch at a certain time. If you're going to eat your late meal, eat that at a certain time. And your body will actually try to work with you to make some adjustments. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like it's going to be exactly the same for everybody, but I
Right.
think it'll be pretty close. People who are eating at 9 o'clock at night, you have to know, even if you're working at night, that's not a great time. You
Right.
should make adjustments, eat your
Mm-hmm.
meal at your earlier lunchtime or before you go, and then, keep it flowing after that because your body doesn't make that kind of adjustment.
Yeah.
So
Well, I usually go to bed like 11:30, 12. The only time I go to bed before 9 is if I'm sick. And if I fall asleep before 9, I am up by 1 o'clock. So I train myself to go to bed later so I can get up at least 5 or 6 hours sleep if I hit it just before midnight.
well, we're gonna have to do a program on sleep
Okay. No,
and
that's
tell you
fine.
why
Yeah.
why you wake up and what you can do about that. And
Mm-hmm.
Ben Franklin had it right. He said, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." And he was including women too. So yeah, I mean that is. But there are reasons why people don't get to sleep that when they want to, or they wake up early and can't get back to sleep. So one of these times, Michael, we'll make a note and we'll talk about
Absolutely.
sleep,
Absolutely.
why, and how to get a good night's rest.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm getting so much better rest now than
Yeah.
I was even several months ago. And the link is in the chat window. It is corrected, and you should have all 5 recipes with this one link. Make sure that you can open the recipes after you get this.
It's
Yes, they're
quite
all there.
okay. It's complete now. It's
Okay.
like
Mm-hmm.
in a Google Drive format.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all there. Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. And
Thanks, Ashif.
oh, you're
Yes.
absolutely welcome. Yeah. And so this is a journey, and there's no way for us to do everything all at once. We've all come to this session from many different directions. And we have a real opportunity here working together. Um, little pieces of information, one tiny change each month can be a huge change after 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And this is the reason we provide these monthly sessions, just so that our audience, those of you who are here, can actually make minor changes and sometimes huge changes if you're so inclined. But just know a little change can be a huge impact to your health over time. And so, any other thoughts or questions? Any celebrations? Anybody lost a pound or two, or anybody gained a pound or two that needed to gain some, or anybody that
I
yeah,
I lost some pounds.
yeah,
Yes, a few weeks ago.
okay,
Should I say a few weeks? Yes, a few weeks ago,
oh,
maybe a few months ago, and the pounds were coming back. But there's a program that just started on Sunday,
yeah,
and if it's okay with you, I'm going to share it in the chat
okay,
because it is very. I don't know if you ever heard about Dr. Donna Cooper Dockery.
I
She,
haven't.
you haven't? It's a holistic program. It's a lose belly fat
Okay,
program that just started,
yeah,
and it is very informative.
okay,
Let me just see if I share it with you now.
yeah, sure.
By the way, I saw this today and I thought this was very interesting. I'm going to share it with you as well.
Tell you a lot of the things that we shared tonight, just shifting the timing of meals around will make a huge difference too.
Yes, yes, yes. And I noticed the green smoothies are very, very important for weight loss.
Yeah, wait till
Well,
you.
I have a really crazy approach to weight. I think weight loss is something you never work at. Weight loss is a report card. Weight loss tells you whether or not you're balancing the other areas of your life. And usually the metabolic changes that grow out of that is the result. Weight loss is the result, or balanced weight is the result. If you have to trick your body into doing it, then that trick won't last long. It tends to um, figure out your trick and then say, you know what, I got you, and we're not playing that game. So we that's another thing we can do to help you see what your body is signaling. You know, when your weight will not stay maintained, it's a signal from your body, just like pain is a signal, and blood sugar imbalance is a signal, and blood pressure imbalance is a signal. It's not a disease. It is your body trying to let you know, hey, you're doing well here or you're not doing so well here. Because let's say with blood sugar imbalance, um, one of the leading things that people never pay attention to for weight and blood sugar and heart problems is infection. So, infection can cause blood sugar imbalance when it has nothing to do with what you eat. So, the same thing with your blood pressure or heart issues. You can, 65% of heart issues I've seen in a study that they were studying medical records are caused by um, infection. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Oh,
it doesn't have to
I
do with.
don't I don't know how you look, how you view it, but I must confess it takes it's a holistic, habits are changed over a 21-day period.
Yep.
And for this is a holistic where meditation, exercise, and your meal preparation, and just about everything. That's what the program entails.
Mm.
And it's like very informative as well, because balancing your managing your numbers in addition to overall health, even if you're on medication.
Mm.
I recognize that a number of testimonials have come in to other 14-day, like belly fat programs and so on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you got it the way I wanted to get it. Just a second. I was trying to find the thing. I just found it. But it's very important. Sometimes you have to start from somewhere.
Mhm.
And more and more persons, it's like we pad our, that's his side. Yeah, I think that's it. It's
That's
the
a
YouTube.
YouTube video.
Just a minute. I'm just checking something. I wanted to, yes, in just 14 days, right? Is that, no, yes, the 14-day, what it's all about.
Okay.
Yes, I shared that. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's excellent.
Yes, it's good.
Oh,
So sorry about that. I was a bit distracted when I was searching for it. But
nice.
I know we have been here for a while. So you see, Doc, you take a disciplined approach. When you start with your green smoothies, and you have your vegetables, and you learn to prepare your vegetables, like for example a Greek salad, and all the other things. It is worth it, because after 14 days you feel so different, you look different, and you want to be different. You don't want to go back to the old way of life. So a transformation begins to take place, because you want to be a healthier you. For example, I come on these programs, so I've been off for quite a few weeks, but when you listen in, you recognize the importance of eating healthy, and you begin to practice. You start to make changes. Now, when you engage in a group program, you recognize that you see others exercising, and it could be that the different kinds of exercises. So you want to participate in that because maybe if you were by yourself, you'd say, okay, I just don't feel the lift to do it today. But you see older persons and you see just about the other participants, they are pushing because they want to achieve their goal, they want to succeed, and then you see yourself being left behind, so you are motivated. So
Mm.
sometimes I must say that there are significant benefits in these programs because it helps to transition you to another level, and it's especially when they are continuous programs, because after this one you continue and then you achieve other goals.
Mhm.
You master and achieve other goals as you go along.
That's great.
So
Yes,
that's the perspective I look at it from.
that's good. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And that's definitely um, a way to celebrate the discoveries, right? And keep us abreast of how it's going. So keep us
Yes.
how it's
I
going.
lost 3 inches and 15 pounds
Okay.
over the 14 days. And I told myself, I'm not going back to where I was. So it's like my choice. Like when I go to the market or the supermarket, even choose selecting my foods, I'm very selective in the way I make a deliberate effort. I said, okay, that's not the best thing for me. I like it, but it's not the best thing for me. I am choosing healthier food. If you
Fantastic.
get, yes.
Great. So
Yeah.
anyone else wanted to share a celebration, a discovery, a challenge that you'd like to get answered? We have uh, actually just another minute and a half.
Okay, this is Rosita.
Yes.
Dr. Rick, I will definitely try your recipe.
Okay.
I can't say about the others, but yours sounds really good.
All right.
Sorry, Mike.
Well, actually, mine goes very well with his.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Dr. Rick, have you heard about monk fruit blend? Some kind of sugar?
you know, I have I've never I can't say I've tried it a lot. So I have some friends that have, but I've never tried the monk fruit. But I've seen it and
Mm-hmm.
I just never did it.
Okay, I haven't either.
Is it
Somebody
good?
just told me. I don't
Oh,
know. Somebody told me about it over the weekend.
Yeah, the only thing with monk fruit you have to be careful with,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it's a blend, is what it's blended with.
Okay.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Monk fruit, pure monk fruit is available and very, very, very sweet, extremely sweet.
Oh.
Um, I have only seen side effects for for the things that they blend it with.
Mm-hmm.
Erythritol is one of the things that they typically blend it with.
Yes,
Uh,
I saw that. I read that on the label.
that is not something good for consistent use.
Yes.
So depending on what the other things are, I would research those as well. But
Mm-hmm.
fruit so far, from all the indications, I've looked at least at 5 different papers on it,
Mm-hmm.
and no contraindications with regular use. I do add some to my smoothie every once in a while, just to give it a little extra kick. And it's when I say some, I mean
Mm-hmm.
like a quarter teaspoon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Michael, where can we find the pure monk fruit?
the pure monk fruit is available on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Organic, pure. Yeah.
Yeah, because the one that I see all the time is the one that's combined, mixed with something,
Mm-hmm. The blend.
Yeah.
at the store.
Yeah. I was very concerned about it because I kept saying, why are they mixing it? Because
Mm-hmm.
then they're adding something that doesn't belong. All right.
Mm.
So, but still, I would encourage you to continue researching it and asking questions about it because I'm just going by, I don't know. I've been using monk fruit maybe for about a year,
Mm.
and but I don't use it very often. It's perhaps maybe once a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't speak to consistent use or anything like that.
I'm
Uh,
transgressing
yeah.
when you're through. Yes, sorry.
Oh,
So
you.
no, I thought you were closing the
Yeah,
statement.
no, yeah, no. That's good. Yes, I'm done. Yes, and we
I
do.
want to find out. I noticed that there is an aggressive approach in selling protein powder. What are your recommendations, Dr. Rick?
Yeah, I think that is a can be a dangerous thing. I have seen people damage themselves even with um, plant protein powders.
Yeah.
The issue is this: it's just like with any other thing, with sweeteners, with weight loss, with anything. The first duty is to find out how does your body work. That's the first thing you want to find out
Yeah.
before, because well, I'm not going to get into a long thing, but um, protein powders, though, I find that usually if you get the powders and they have a scoop in them, then usually most of the scoops have about 25 grams of protein per scoop,
Oh,
right? And that's very high. Okay, so people were using, you know, two or three or four scoops of that, you know, a day, which that's going to destroy your kidneys. So you
okay.
have to be very careful with that, especially if it's not plant protein, then that's even more a deadly signal. But if it is plant protein, that's still too much. So the key to protein is absorption. It's not, you don't want to eat a ton of protein. You don't need a lot of protein. And if you follow the American Dietetic Association recommendation for zero point 0.8 grams of protein per body, your body weight, you would die quickly. I'm telling you, that's why people are having kidney failures and aging and all this other stuff. You need to digest, and I say most people need good probiotic and a good digestive enzyme to really start that. And when you get that and get your body in the rhythm with that, you don't need a lot of protein. You need, that's why the Bible diet is low in protein, because if you're absorbing the protein, you don't need a lot of protein. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Well, folks, we're going to wrap it up right here tonight. We want to thank you for coming out, for asking these great questions, and for sharing your celebrations. Want to hear more? I want to hear some more success stories, whether you use it from what we're sharing or you get it from somewhere else. It's just that you're healthier tomorrow than you are today. I
Mm-hmm.
want you not I want you to make that the goal for every day. So every single day you're just that little bit healthier because you're practicing good habits, you're improving on those habits, and you're coming back here to celebrate, to reinforce, and give yourself a dopamine hit right here on this Natural Health Enthusiasts Workshop. So, folks, have a good night. Have a wonderful month. And we'll be back here on, I think it's the 14th of January for our second Tuesday in January. And we will be here with another dose of healthy living.
I do
Thank
want to
you,
say
Dr.
one
Rick.
thing.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I did want to say one thing just to encourage everybody. You
Yeah.
know, like we've said, it's not going to all happen in a day or a week or a month.
Yep.
And so you really have to, the biggest thing is starting healthy habits. And if you get in a healthy rhythm, God is going to help you with that habit. I mean, next year for me will be 50 years of being on a vegetarian diet and all that other stuff, and I'm still learning, and I'm still changing, and I'm still improving. So, wow, be encouraged. It takes time. Just get in the habit of doing the right things. Okay.
Baby steps.
Fantastic. Okay, until next month, have a good month. Be safe and continue
Happy
to.
New Year, Dr. Rick.
Oh, same to everybody.
Merry Christmas
Mm-hmm.
and Happy
Merry
New Year.
Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. This is the last for the year. Wow, amazing.
Good
Take
night.
care, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.
Let me know, Rosita, how that comes out.
Sure. I'll let you know.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Sure. Bye bye.
All right.